On every road, danger does not always begin with a horn or an obvious warning sign. It can come from a rushed overtake, 1 second of distraction, a slight slip of the wheels, or a driver who believes they still have enough time to correct a mistake. In today's video, we will step into ordinary moments that suddenly turn into unbelievable accidents. Please hit like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you do not miss the next cautionary stories.
Start looking.
At first, the dashcam footage looked like a completely ordinary highway scene. Traffic was moving steadily, the lanes were crowded, and there was no clear sign that danger was approaching. But then, in a moment that would make any viewer jump, a car suddenly fell from above the overpass and crashed straight into the highway area below. If you were watching it live, the first reaction would probably be, "Wait, where did that car even come from?" That is exactly what makes this incident so hard to believe. The danger did not come from the car in front, and it did not come from the next lane. It came from a place most drivers would almost never expect, from above. When you are behind the wheel, a threat is not always limited to your own lane. It can come from an overpass, a merging ramp, a median, the shoulder, or a driver completely outside your line of sight. Defensive driving is not just about watching what is directly ahead. It is about staying mentally prepared for the things you cannot predict. The scene begins with a situation almost every driver has experienced: a traffic jam on the highway. Cars moving slowly, and everyone lined up, waiting to inch forward. The atmosphere may be frustrating, but it is still the kind of everyday traffic people see all the time. Then, from behind a large semi-truck comes rushing in at a speed that does not match the slow-moving traffic ahead. There is very little time to react. There is no open space wide enough to escape. There's a heavy feeling when the onlookers realize the truck couldn't stop in time. This is the kind of accident that makes you look in your rearview mirror differently. When traffic ahead suddenly slows down, your job isn't just to maintain distance from the vehicle in front. You also need to look behind you, turn on your hazard lights when necessary, and avoid getting yourself sandwiched between multiple large vehicles. Sometimes, a small signal can give the driver behind you a precious extra second to slow down. Some dashcams only capture the road ahead, but this video is even more haunting because it captures the reactions inside the car right before the moment of impact. There is no need for dramatic sound and no need for an overly violent scene. The expressions on the faces of the people inside the vehicle say everything. They realized something was wrong before the crash actually happened. That brief flash of fear is enough to make viewers understand that this is no longer just a simple collision. It is a moment when human beings come face to face with something they can no longer avoid. The most heartbreaking thing about traffic accidents is that they are not just about metal, shattered glass, or the sound of brakes. Behind every vehicle is a person thinking about work, dinner, their children, their family, or some ordinary plan they expected to continue. And then, in just a few seconds, everything is cut short. Do not drive as if it is just an unconscious habit. Every stretch of road demands your full attention. What moment in the video do you think delivers the strongest warning? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Hit like if you found this message meaningful. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you do not miss the next cautionary stories. This footage unsettles viewers in a different way because it involves a vehicle we often associate with safety, a police car. The dashcam captures the patrol car moving through traffic before a serious collision occurs. What makes this worth thinking about is that no matter who is behind the wheel, an ordinary driver, a truck driver, a delivery worker, or someone with professional training, physics does not make exceptions. By this point, many viewers may say to themselves, even someone with experience can run out of time to correct a mistake. And that is the scariest part. When a vehicle is moving too fast through heavy traffic, everyone around it has almost no time left to react. A car making a legal turn, a pedestrian crossing the street, or another vehicle merging into the lane. Any of them can become a victim of speed. The lesson is not about criticizing one group of drivers. It is a reminder that speed takes choices away from everyone on the road. The incident in Columbus offers a similarly heavy reminder. When a crash involves an official vehicle, people do not just want to know who was right or wrong. They need answers because public trust is also part of the story. The camera captures the seconds before the situation becomes irreversible. The road is still open, vehicles are still moving, and the scene still looks like an ordinary day. But all it takes is a chain of wrong decisions or 1 second of misjudgment for everything to change instantly. What makes this case valuable in a safety warning video is that it shows how a crash does not end at the scene. It can lead to investigations, controversy, grief, legal responsibility, and families waiting for the truth. A camera cannot prevent every tragedy, but it allows us to look back at those final seconds and forces every driver, including trained professionals, to face the consequences of their actions on the road. There is a very specific kind of fear that comes from seeing a large truck lose control. You immediately understand that this is not just a small car drifting out of its lane. This is a multi-ton mass of metal carrying enormous momentum, and it cannot stop in an instant. In the clip from Cincinnati, the dashcam captures the moments before the tractor-trailer crash. After the impact, what moves viewers most is the reaction of the people nearby. Some witnesses did not run away from the scene. Instead, they moved closer to help the driver. That is the human side of an incredibly tense piece of footage. One person lost control of a vehicle, but complete strangers chose to step in and help. Large trucks need more space, more time, and more respect on the road. Do not cut too closely in front of a truck. Do not assume a truck can brake the same way a passenger car can. When you are driving near a large vehicle, give it enough room so that one mistake does not pull you into a disaster. Few sights on a highway are more terrifying than seeing headlights coming straight toward you. In this dashcam footage, a wrong-way driver appears on I-40 before a serious head-on collision occurs. For the person recording that moment must have felt so impossible that the brain needed an extra second to accept it. The other car was completely where it should not have been. If you have ever driven at night on a highway, you understand how a long stretch of road can tire your eyes and let your mind drift. Now imagine that in the middle of that monotony, a vehicle suddenly appears exactly where it should never be. Wrong-way crashes are often devastating because two vehicles are moving toward each other at high speed. The lesson is to always scan far ahead, especially near highway entrances and exits. At night, do not stay in the left lane for too long if you do not need to. Sometimes, survival depends on recognizing danger just a few seconds earlier. How do you think you would react in a situation like that? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Hit like if this story made you think, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell to keep following the next cautionary moments. This wasn't a typical traffic accident. It was more like a breathtaking rescue. A teenager was reportedly trapped in an SUV that couldn't slow down properly while the vehicle accelerated to extremely high speeds. Outside authorities had to quickly find a way to stop the vehicle without turning the rescue into a major disaster. Try putting yourself in the driver's shoes, hands gripping the steering wheel, legs tense, heart pounding, but the car kept hurtling forward. On the police side, they had only seconds to calculate the next move. How do you stop an out-of-control vehicle while still keeping the person inside alive? What is important to remember is that not every dangerous situation comes from reckless behavior. Sometimes a technical failure, panic, or a mechanical malfunction can turn an ordinary drive into a nightmare. Know how to shift into neutral, use the emergency brake properly, stay calm, and call for help when your vehicle has a problem. In a crisis, basic knowledge can save lives. Bridges always make every mistake more dangerous because there is very little room to escape. On the Sydney Harbour Bridge dashcam footage captures a small car suddenly changing lanes, crossing into oncoming traffic and causing a head-on collision. The scariest part of the clip is that the drivers coming the other way had almost nowhere left to avoid it. On a wider road, you may still have a shoulder or some open space, but on a bridge, the barriers are close, the lanes are narrow, traffic is heavy, and every option becomes limited. Watching this scene, the natural reaction is, where could you even go in a situation like that? And that is the real fear. The lesson comes down to focus and lane discipline. On bridges, in tunnels, near construction zones, or on narrow stretches of road, even a small drift of the steering wheel can turn into a major crash. If you feel tired, dizzy, overwhelmed, or unwell, pull over before the road forces you to pay the price. Rain always makes the road unpredictable. It hides slippery surfaces, reduces visibility, and gives drivers a false sense of control until the tires begin to lose grip. In this dashcam footage from Tasmania, a young driver attempts to overtake in wet road conditions. For one brief moment, the pass looks like it might work, but seconds later, the vehicle becomes unstable, slides out, and turns the situation into a frightening near escape. By this point, many viewers may be thinking, why would anyone take that risk? But on the road, dangerous decisions often look small before a crash happens. The driver thinks they have enough speed, enough space, and enough control to handle it. The camera later proves otherwise. Overtaking is not just about pressing the gas pedal. It depends on the road surface, the weather, visibility, oncoming traffic, and patience. In poor conditions, the safest pass may be the one that never happens at all. Roundabouts are designed to slow traffic down, but they cannot save a vehicle that enters too fast or suffers a braking problem. In this clip, a truck approaches the roundabout, and almost immediately viewers can sense that something is wrong. The vehicle is carrying too much momentum. It barrels through the roundabout area, collides with another vehicle, then tips onto its side and sweeps across the roadside. What makes the footage so tense is the helplessness of the people around it. They did nothing wrong. They were simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. Wind changes everything. A loaded truck cannot handle like a passenger car. A downhill grade weak breaks a sharp turn, and a roundabout can combine into a dangerous chain of events. Slow down early, because once momentum takes control, the steering wheel may no longer be enough to save the situation. What should large vehicle drivers pay the most attention to when going through a roundabout or down a steep road? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Hit like if you found this warning helpful. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell to keep following the next traffic safety stories. Intersections are where trust is put to the test. When the light turns green, you trust that traffic from the other direction will stop. But this dashcam footage shows just how fragile that trust can be. A vehicle runs a red light, enters the intersection, and T-bones another vehicle that was moving legally. The crash happens in seconds, but the setting is painfully familiar. An ordinary intersection, ordinary traffic, and people simply following the signal. That ordinary setting is exactly what makes the incident so frightening. It does not take a racetrack extreme speed or a dramatic scene. One driver ignoring a red light is enough to turn a normal intersection into a crash site. The The lesson is, not only do not run red lights, the lesson is also this: when your light turns green, take one extra beat to look left and right. That half second may annoy the driver behind you, but it could save your life. This clip has the pacing of a movie chase, but the danger is completely real. Police are following a van being driven in a dangerous manner. The situation becomes tense as the van approaches an area where one wrong decision could send it into oncoming traffic. What matters here is not just the pursuit itself, but the moment officers have to decide whether to stop the vehicle before an even larger crash can happen. Interventions like this can look extremely violent on camera, but behind them is a life-or-death calculation. Accept the risk right now, or allow an even greater danger to unfold just seconds later. For viewers, this case shows how one fleeing driver can drag completely innocent people into danger. A family in a small car, someone driving to work, a cyclist, anyone can become a victim. Never run from the police. Public roads are not a place to gamble with the lives of strangers. Road rage is one of the scariest things on the road because it can turn a vehicle into a weapon. In this dashcam footage, an SUV appears to steer toward a motorcyclist after a tense situation. What makes viewers go cold is that the incident does not feel like an ordinary driving mistake. It feels personal. And on a public road, personal anger can become a disaster for everyone. The natural reaction when watching this is, no argument is worth doing that. Not being cut off, not a horn honk, not an angry gesture. Nothing is worth putting someone else in danger. Motorcyclists are already extremely vulnerable. One sudden move from a larger vehicle can change everything. Let it go. Slow down. Take another route. Call the police if necessary, but do not escalate. Pride can recover. A human life cannot. Some crashes are terrifying because they happen in places we normally think of as safe. This case did not end on a highway or at a busy intersection. It ended in the backyard of a home. Security footage captures a speeding vehicle flying over a barrier and crashing into the pool area behind the house. The scene feels almost unbelievable because it breaks a boundary in our minds. Traffic danger is no longer just out on the road. It can suddenly appear inside a family's private space. Imagine sitting near the pool or children playing in the backyard when a car suddenly comes flying in like an object falling from nowhere. That is what makes this clip so shocking. The lesson is about speed in residential areas. Many drivers think going a little faster is not a big deal, but when control is lost, speed determines how far the vehicle will travel, how hard it will hit, and how many innocent bystanders are placed in danger. Inside the store, everything is happening like any normal day. Shelves, lights, narrow aisles, maybe a customer choosing a drink or an employee working behind the counter. Then, suddenly, the entrance becomes the path of an oncoming vehicle. Security footage captures the moment the vehicle crashes through the storefront, sends merchandise flying, and leaves everyone inside in panic. What makes this incident so shocking is the extreme contrast. 1 second it is a normal store, the next the road seems to come crashing into the building. Crashes like this are often linked to pedal confusion, loss of control, medical emergencies, or mistakes in parking areas. That is why parking lots are not as harmless as many people think. When driving near a store, slow all the way down, keep your foot close to the brake, and do not rush. One mistaken press of the gas pedal can turn into a major crash when glass doors, pedestrians, and customers are only a few feet in front of the vehicle. Have you ever witnessed a dangerous situation in a parking lot? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Hit like if this story made you more cautious. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you do not miss the next warning videos. Restaurants are places where people are completely oblivious to traffic accidents. They're eating, chatting, watching sports, meeting friends, or celebrating a special occasion. Then, unexpectedly, a pickup truck crashes into the side of the building. The security camera footage is terrifying because the victims weren't people driving. They were simply sitting in a space that should have been safe. An incident like this doesn't just damage a wall. It left a psychological trauma for customers, employees, witnesses, and even those who might never feel comfortable sitting near a window again. The lesson isn't just for drivers. Businesses located near busy roads need to consider protective barriers, especially at entrances and outdoor areas. And for drivers, remember that the journey isn't over just because you've left the highway. Even in parking lots or on smaller roads, losing control can have serious consequences. CCTV footage in Bolton captured the moments leading up to a serious collision between two vehicles on a public road. The video is unflashy, without cinematic angles or dramatic effects. It is precisely this simplicity that makes it so impactful. Two cars appear, the road looks completely normal, and then in just seconds, everything changes.
Formal identification is ongoing at this time, and of course it is pivotal that we get this right. If have been fatally injured in this incident, have been informed, and have specialist family liaison.
Some clips are haunting not because they're the noisiest, but because they look exactly like any street we walk down every day. Watching this many people will think this could happen anywhere. The lesson is never to underestimate familiar roads. Many drivers become complacent when near home because they know every curve, every turn, every traffic light. But familiarity can reduce vigilance. A road you've traveled hundreds of times can still become dangerous if speed timing and judgment are all wrong at the same time. This CCTV footage looks almost unbelievable. A car approaches a roundabout, not following the direction of traffic, but instead speeds up, flies over the center of the roundabout, and crashes on the other side. The reason this clip is attracting attention is obvious. Cars aren't made to fly. But behind that unbelievable image may lie a more complex story. Several similar incidents have involved medical emergencies, loss of control, or unexpected driver emergencies. That detail changes the way we tell the story. Not all accidents are caused by recklessness. Sometimes the driver may be experiencing a health problem before anyone outside realizes it. If you experience chest pain, dizziness, disorientation, unusual drowsiness, or any other signs of ill health, pull over immediately. Calling for help from a safe location is always better than trying to drive a few more minutes to get home. This incident is difficult to watch because it was so preventable. Dashcam footage shows the cars ahead slowing down or stopping, but a car behind failed to react in time and crashed into them. According to reports, the driver was distracted by their phone before the collision. This detail transforms the incident from a traffic accident into a cautionary tale about distraction screen addiction and misguided self-confidence. The viewer's reaction is almost certainly, just because of the phone? But that's the danger of distraction. It makes something meaningless suddenly urgent for a few seconds, and those few seconds can destroy someone's life. Don't touch your phone while driving. Not for a text message, not for a notification, not for a bet, not for anything. The road needs your eyes right now. The screen can wait. If you've ever seen someone driving while using their phone, please share your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more cautionary stories like this to continue spreading, don't forget to support the video with a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications.
I see the start looking.
499. He put me with it. It just hit me.
Dashcam footage from police cars often creates a tense atmosphere because viewers see almost exactly what the police see. In this case, a car going the wrong way speeds straight toward the patrol car before the collision occurs. The scary thing is there's almost no time to react. Headlights appear the angle of travel is wrong. Then the crash happens. That's the kind of footage that makes viewers understand why drunk driving is never just a personal risk. It turns everyone around you into a victim of your bad decision. Don't drink and drive. Call a ride-hailing service. Ask a friend to drive you home. Wait until you're sober and hand over the keys. A bad decision behind the wheel could hit a stranger before you even realize how much control you've lost. The last case is one of the most disturbing because the danger lies not only in the collision itself. The terrifying part is where the vehicle ends up. Dashcam footage reportedly shows a 7-seater car losing control, veering off the road and plunging into the water. Accidents involving water always create a unique kind of fear because after the plunge, the situation is no longer just about a damaged car. The vehicle can become a trap. This isn't a story to be told with incitement. It's a serious reminder that rural roads, bridges, canals, ditches, and areas near waterways demand absolute concentration, especially at night in bad weather or when narrow roads lack secure barriers. Slow down when near water, avoid reckless overtaking, and keep an emergency escape kit in your vehicle. Most people never think they'll need it, but the families in stories like this probably did too. Each accident in today's video leaves a very personal moment of reflection, not to scare us every time we go out, but to remind us that safety sometimes begins with the smallest things: slowing down at the right time, maintaining distance, being a little more patient, and not letting haste decide our fate. A peaceful journey is always worth more than a few extra seconds. If any of the stories made you think, please share your feelings below. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications to continue watching future videos.